Fancy. Hi, baby. You hadn't met this one yet. This one's Fancy. So after the bone chilling cold and frost wore off this morning, it's finally able to get out here and get started working a little bit. And hang on while I shake you around here, getting up over these trusses. What I wanted to do was brace my trusses before I put the polycarbonate on, and I didn't like the idea of having to purchase more 2x4s, more lumber, and I decided to use a different technique that I've never tried before. So we'll see how this works as time goes on. And hang on, I'm going to step over another truss here. See, I've got one complete. If you can see that X there, that is stainless steel strapping. So I run a band in an X to cross brace, and this is it's much less obtrusive than 2x4s. Frankly, it's probably a lot easier too. But anyway, that's what I'm working on this morning. I've got one complete. There'll be another one here where I'm standing, which is on the same end, and then there'll be a pair on the other end before we start with the polycarbonate. And I know the wind's blowing, so I'm going to stop here. All right, so I started off. This banding is, as I said, it's stainless. It's 1/2 inch wide and 30 thousandths on the thickness. But I started off by drilling a couple of holes in the end of it, as you can see here. And I'll try to show you as we go along just the process of doing one of these X's. All right, so I start off lap over the end of the truss here at the gable, and I put one of the nails in, but not tight. That's so that this can pivot, so that when I stretch it tight, it won't have theoretically it won't have a kink in it. And what I'm using to fasten this down with, let me get one here, are these nails. They're actually designed to install joist hangers with. Galvanized, they're heavy shank. Now what I found amusing this morning was the container that these are in. It said 10D, the letter D is in dog, 10D by 1.5 inches. And I found that amusing that people that make labels don't know what they're talking about. 10D is the length of the nail, not the diameter of the shank. And you have box nails and you have common nails. Common nails have a heavier shank, while box nails have a skinnier shank. And a 10D is a 3-inch nail. So this banding, it come in a roll, 100 foot long. So it's in this little box here, and you pull on it and it feeds out. And I want to bring it down here. See, I start at the peak, and then I come down here to the end of a truss, over 8 foot from that side over to here, from over 8 feet. And then the dilemma was what to do here, how to fasten it here. I can't go over the outside. I can't go down through this gap right here, because that's where the polycarbonate will come up through. So what I elected to do was to go right through here. Okay, and what I do is back these 2 screws out just a little bit and take my pry bar and force this out enough to let that band slide behind there, and it wraps around the end of the truss and comes back on this side over here, and then I fasten it over here. Okay, so you can see the gap that I've created there by backing those 2 screws out just a little bit, and we just slip the band in right around the end of the truss. And now what I need to do, I need to draw out the slack that's in that before I nail it down to the trusses. And so this is, I'm going to put this down here, try not to make you dizzy. This is the same technique that I showed you in a previous video of how to move the truss in relation to the wall using a screw. So we're going to do the same thing with a screw here. And I'll turn, see, I'm going to angle the screw like that and put it in and leave a gap drop my drill. Leave a gap here, and so when this goes in at an angle, when the head pulls down, then it's going to pull the band this way and pull the slack out. Okay. And you can see that it pulled to such a degree it buckled some of the fibers of the wood right there. And then, see, that's kind of made that taut. Now when I pull these in here, I drive a nail down through here into each top of each truss. When I set that nail head, it puts leaving a little bit more tension on it. So we'll work on that. Okay, so I've tightened the fascia board back up, and I went up to the top, started up there, and working my way down. Because like I said, when I drive these nails through, setting them, driving them down where they're flush with the surface here, it actually tightens it up some, which I needed. And although I can drive these nails through this strap, because I value the longevity of my fingers, I pre-drill the hole either part of the way through or all the way through. See, that tightens it up nice and snug. And so that's one here, and then I'll go right back up there. You can see where the one from the other side laps over. Right there. And I'll start there and then come back down to the opposite corner down here. Down there. Do the same thing down there. And loosen that fascia board, drive it out a little bit, and go out around. Well, here we go. We got the last X bracing complete, and this is how much I had left over out of a 100-foot roll. And see, that's where accurate math and geometry, in this case, comes into play and really handy. Don't know that I've ever used algebra, but geometry I like. But you know, you might think, so how do you calculate this? How much to figure that we need? Well, you remember the basics of figuring square footage of a rectangle, or even the perimeter. You know, square footage is length times width, right? Okay, that's simple. And we know the measurement. I knew the measurement across the bottom would be 8 feet. I know this wind's going to be awful. Across the bottom is 8 feet, and the length up the slope, the rafter part of the truss, was right at 9 feet. So how do you figure this diagonal here, which in geometry is called the hypotenuse? How many of you remember how to calculate the hypotenuse of a right triangle? Because this is 90 degrees down here, so this is a right triangle. So it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? Remember that? So you've got 9 squared is 81. You got 8 across the bottom. 8 squared is 64. Well, you add those together, you get 145. So what's 12 times 12? That's 144. So 12 squared, that gets you real close, within an inch. So that's how you calculate it. And so then you got 12, and 12 is 24. You got another one over there on the other side that's 48. You got 2 on the other end. There's another 48, which makes 96. So that left 4 feet extra to, lap over the ends, and then we had this much left. So again, I love it when a plan comes together. So hopefully this will work. Again, this is the first time I've ever tried doing this. I don't see why it won't work. Looks like it'd be very sturdy. But anyway, Up next is we got to turn the van and trailer around, back them in on the carport, and make a table to handle those 6-foot by 18-foot sheets of polycarbonate. So here we go. Here's what I was talking about, these nails. 10D by 1.5 inches. That was so amusing to me. 10D means the nail is 3 inches long.